In a region where leaders vanish overnight, Ibrahim Traoré has survived multiple coup attempts, foreign pressure, and armed insurgency, and he's only getting stronger. So what's protecting him? Guns, secrets, or something deeper that no one knows about? Let's find out. The last time a coup erupted in Burkina Faso, it didn't start with gunfire. It started with silence. Rumors moved through the barracks like smoke. The radios went dead. Officers stopped answering phones, a shift in the air. But when the dust cleared, Traoré was still standing, and those behind the plot were already in custody. That wasn't luck, that was preparation, and more importantly, it was loyalty. At the core of Traoré's protection lies something that every African leader craves but few possess: total military alignment. Not by fear, not by bribery, but by belief. The elite Cobra unit, known for their ruthless efficiency and covert field operations, operates almost like a brotherhood sworn not just to protect Traoré's body, but his vision. They weren't built in conference rooms. They were shaped in trenches, fighting insurgents across the northern frontier. And that's where the trust was forged. Because when the bullets were real and backup was far, Traoré wasn't in a suit back in the capital. He was in uniform beside them. That changes everything. Unlike past regimes where military power was fragmented between factions, Traoré has consolidated it around a singular doctrine: total sovereignty. Officers are promoted not by bloodlines or backdoor deals, but by how well they align with the vision of a Burkina Faso that answers to no one but its people. This ideological filter has built a chain of command that doesn't waver. And it's not just about the Cobras. Traoré has quietly restructured the entire military architecture of Burkina Faso. New battalions have been deployed in volatile zones, not just to fight insurgents, but to establish a presence in areas where the state had vanished. Soldiers have been repositioned not by foreign advisors, but by internal intelligence rooted in local knowledge. And most importantly, the military has been stripped of external dependencies. Gone are the French military trainers and NATO advisors in their place. A leaner, nationalized force, trained locally, armed through new partners, and guided by a doctrine of anti-imperial defense. But here's the real mystery. Even after multiple coup attempts, not one has succeeded in penetrating his inner military circle. Not one. That's unheard of in a region riddled with betrayal. So what's the secret? The answer may lie in how Traoré handles military psychology. Unlike many African leaders who treat the armed forces as a threat to be controlled, Traoré has done the opposite. He's made them feel like co-owners of the revolution. Every military success is portrayed not as a government victory, but as a soldier's legacy. Every threat is framed not just against the presidency, but against the very soul of the uniform. This emotional ownership has made the military invest in his survival. If Traoré falls, the revolution they believe in collapses with him. And in a region where soldiers are often treated as pawns, that kind of meaning is rare and dangerous to fight against. But soldiers alone can't stabilize a country. Guns defend the gate, yes, but who stands behind the gate? Who gives it the weight of legitimacy? To understand why Traoré hasn't fallen, we need to move beyond the battlefield and into the streets. Let's pause for a second to say big thank you to the Black Culture Diary community, where Black voices, stories, and legacies are preserved and amplified. By becoming a member, you're not just supporting the channel, you're becoming part of a powerful cultural movement. Let's continue. You can have soldiers at the gate, but that gate means nothing if the people behind it don't care who holds the keys. That's what makes Burkina Faso different. Ibrahim Traoré isn't just protected by his military, he's defended by something far more unpredictable. A population that has decided his downfall is unacceptable. And not because of blind loyalty, but because of something far more potent: unfinished revolution. Step into Ouagadougou on any given day, and you won't see ordinary political apathy. You'll see murals of Thomas Sankara freshly painted next to portraits of Traoré. Not because someone told them to, but because people believe something has returned. A spirit. A promise. A break from the decades where leaders sold gold and pride for foreign loans. That belief is what gives Traoré his civilian shield. He's done what few modern leaders manage. He's given people a reason to attach themselves emotionally to a government. not through social programs or speeches, but through defiance. Traoré's decision to cut ties with France, withdraw from ECOWAS, reject Western aid, and embrace a future that sounds unapologetically African isn't just a diplomatic strategy. To the streets, it's revenge wrapped in vision. And they're not just watching him, they're backing him, physically. When a coup attempt was uncovered in early 2025, it wasn't the military who mobilized first. It was civilians. Spontaneous demonstrations. Men, women, youth, many with no party affiliations, flooded roads around the presidency. Not to protest, to defend, to be seen, to dare the conspirators to try. That kind of support doesn't come from political rallies. It comes from wounds. Wounds from years of being told Burkina Faso couldn't rise, that its gold had to be exported unrefined, that its children would be educated through NGOs, that its decisions would be made in Paris. Now, for the first time in a generation, someone is saying no. And that no is loud in the markets, in the mosques, on social media, and in classrooms. Even Burkinabe and the diaspora, in Mali, Côte d'Ivoire, France, are calling for support, raising funds, sharing speeches, and spreading ideology. Not for a party, but for a moment, they refuse to let it die. This kind of civic involvement has rewired the usual power structure. In most countries, if a president stumbles, people step back. In Burkina Faso today, if Traoré stumbles, people step forward. And that creates a problem for anyone trying to destabilize the regime. You can bribe a general, you can infiltrate a cabinet, but you can't assassinate a crowd's conviction. The West is beginning to notice. French outlets speak of radical youth sentiment. International diplomats talk of Burkina Faso's unexpected civilian pushback. But they still don't understand. This isn't youthful noise. It's a historical memory, a national one. And every time the crowd flinches, it remembers what happened to Sankara and vows not to let history repeat. But popular support, while powerful, becomes even more formidable when it's no longer just national, when it stretches across borders and morphs into something larger. And that's exactly what happens in the next layer of Traoré's protection, a regional alliance born from rebellion. What happens when the crowd's voice becomes too loud for one country to contain? It spreads. That's exactly what's happened with Ibrahim Traoré's revolution. What began as national resistance has now been woven into a much bigger fabric, the Alliance of Sahel States, AES, and this alliance might be the most underestimated shield around him yet. The AES is more than a diplomatic gesture. It's a mutual survival pact. Formed by Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, it's a direct response to years of failed international solutions, toothless regional blocs like ECOWAS, and Western-backed interventions that left the Sahel more unstable than ever. Each of these countries has seen leaders fall, rebellions rise, and foreign troops circle like vultures, and each one has said, never again. Traoré, along with Mali's Assimi Goïta and Niger's Abdourahmane Chiani, understood a simple truth. Alone, they'd be picked off one by one. Together, they become a fortress. And it's not just symbolic. The AES alliance is rapidly building joint military protocols, unifying command structures, and coordinating border security. The goal isn't just to fight insurgency. It's to make sure no one can be removed from power without the other two responding. An attack on one becomes a declaration of war on all. For Traoré, this changes everything. It means that foreign actors thinking of destabilizing Burkina Faso now face a triple threat. There's no easy replacement plan like before. No quick fix where a coup removes one leader and the region moves on. Instead, it risks triggering a regional conflict that draws in millions, fractures borders, and sets a new anti-West fire ablaze in West Africa. But the alliance isn't just military. Economically and politically, it's being built as a post-colonial alternative. The three countries have withdrawn from ECOWAS. They've begun discussing shared currency mechanisms outside the CFA franc, greater control of natural resources, and collective investment in refining industries rather than just raw exports. That alone challenges the entire economic structure that the West once dominated. And in terms of information warfare, they've created parallel media ecosystems. State-backed channels in all three countries now amplify each other, controlling the narrative, exposing coup plots, and reshaping how citizens view not just their leaders, but their neighbors. All of this makes Traoré more than just the president of Burkina Faso. He's now a pillar of a movement, one that is fortified by geography, ideology, and military coordination. If his presidency falls, the credibility of the entire AES crumbles. That's why his allies in Bamako and Niamey don't just wish him well, they're politically invested in his survival. And unlike traditional alliances, this one isn't built on treaties and fancy hotels. It was born on the battlefield, forged by shared trauma, and sustained by the understanding that the enemy isn't just insurgents, it's the entire legacy of foreign manipulation. But regional firepower doesn't stop every threat. Traoré isn't just guarded by armies and alliances. He's also protected by something harder to trace: the eyes that watch from the shadows, the ears in every room, the invisible hand that swats down threats before they make headlines. To uncover that layer, we have to go where no cameras are allowed, into the quiet world of preemptive power. Here's a reminder to please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black culture, history, civilization, and identity. Let's continue now. Military loyalty holds the front. The people guard the streets. The AES blocks foreign pressure. But the real battles, they never make the news. Because before a coup can spark, before a whisper turns into a plot, before a hand reaches for the gun, someone in Ibrahim Traoré's circle has already heard it. What keeps Traoré safe in a region infamous for overnight power grabs isn't just what's visible. It's what stays hidden. Behind every rally and reform is an intelligent structure designed to intercept, disarm, and dissolve threats before they fully form. Burkina Faso, under Traoré, has overhauled its internal security network into something leaner, smarter, and more ruthless than ever before. Forget bloated spy agencies weighed down by protocol. Traoré's model is built around speed and silence. You don't see it coming. You don't see it leave, but it leaves nothing behind. This network isn't made of suits and glass towers. It's made of combat-tested field officers, military insiders, digital analysts, and regional informants. They don't operate on a 9-to-5 clock. They operate in the gaps where threats are born. And they're not loyal to a paycheck. They're loyal to the revolution's survival, and it's working. Since taking power, Traoré's government has faced multiple coup attempts, some of them involving senior officers, others involving civilians with foreign backing. Yet in every case, the plotters were neutralized without a single public firefight. No long manhunts, no breakdown of order, just quiet arrests, quick disappearances, and one constant message: we saw you coming. That's not surveillance, that's penetration. Traoré's people aren't just watching potential threats. They're inside the rooms where betrayal is planned. That kind of depth isn't possible with foreign intelligence. It's only possible with a loyal, ideologically embedded system that treats security as the last line of revolutionary defense. And they're not just looking inward. Burkina Faso's intelligence network has also extended into the foreign diplomatic space. The government has grown increasingly wary of embassies, NGOs, and visiting security consultants, especially from countries with a record of interventionist friendship. Some diplomatic staff have been quietly expelled, others placed under watch. Travel patterns are monitored, financial trails are followed, public silence is paired with private suspicion. This is a regime that no longer believes in coincidences and acts accordingly. But there's another layer here: information warfare. The government has weaponized media leaks, disinformation, and internal counter-narratives. When rumors of plots emerge, they're often followed by anonymous online disclosures, photos, text messages, leaked audio. Whether genuine or planted, the result is the same: paranoia among conspirators, trust among citizens. The intelligence system doesn't just stop coups, it discredits them before they even exist. The idea isn't just to win, it's to ensure the enemy never picks up the sword at all. This model of governance might raise eyebrows in liberal circles. But for a country fighting not just insurgents but neo-colonial ghosts, security isn't a luxury, it's a strategy of survival. Still, even the best intelligence system can only function if there's a belief behind it. A purpose. A fire that makes people sacrifice comfort for continuity. And that fire doesn't come from guns or alliances. It comes from something older, deeper, and far more untouchable: To understand the final, and perhaps most unbreakable, force protecting Traoré, we must look not at what surrounds him, but what lives inside the revolution itself. Every regime has soldiers. Some have public support. Fewer still have alliances, and only a handful master intelligence. But the rarest protection, the one no bullet can pierce, no bribe can buy, and no foreign power can understand, is belief. In Burkina Faso, belief has a name, Thomas Sankara, and in Ibrahim Traoré, that name didn't just return, it mutated. For decades after Sankara's assassination in 1987, his ghost lingered over Burkina Faso like unfinished business. Statues were built, documentaries made, speeches quoted, but nothing lived up to the fire he started. That is, until a 34-year-old army captain stepped forward and said things no leader dared say since, "We will live with dignity. We will not be anyone's puppet, and we will never be colonized again." Those weren't just words, they were code, Sankara's code, reactivated. And it's this ideological continuity that now forms the final, and perhaps most unshakable, layer of protection around Traoré. Not because people expect him to be Sankara, but because they believe he is what comes after. In a country where coups are frequent and trust is thin, beliefs like this are rare. Yet across Burkina Faso, the mood is different. In rallies, you don't just see flags, you see portraits. Sankara in one hand, Traoré in the other. It's not nostalgia. It's a passing of the torch, and the people have decided who's holding it now. This matters in ways outside analysts often miss, because when ideology penetrates deeply enough, it creates cultural immunity. You can remove a leader, you can burn a constitution, but you can't kill the feeling that something bigger is at stake. That kind of psychological terrain becomes dangerous for would-be plotters. It means every betrayal risks not just a backlash, but a moral collapse. And Traoré knows it. That's why his speeches aren't just political updates, they're rituals. He invokes anti-imperialism, calls out neo-colonial theft, celebrates agricultural independence, and tells his citizens that they are enough. These aren't populist slogans. They're ideological weapons, designed to arm minds, not just soldiers. And the impact spreads. Beyond Burkina Faso's borders, this ideological current is gaining traction in classrooms, activist spaces, WhatsApp groups, and radio waves across Africa. Traoré is no longer just the president, he's a reference point, a symbol of what post-colonial defiance could look like if it walked upright, refused to bow, and didn't apologize for protecting its soil. That global visibility acts as another kind of deterrent. To move against Traoré now isn't just a political maneuver. It's a symbolic strike against the very idea of African dignity. And that risk outweighs the reward for many forces that might once have tried. But more than anything, this ideological shield protects from within. It makes betrayal harder, mobilization easier, and silence more suspicious. The very people who would once have been silent in the face of a coup are now alert, ideological, and prepared to resist. That's not politics, that's spiritual security. And for Traoré, it might be the only protection that can outlive his term, his alliances, even his military. Because once an idea is alive in the streets, in the songs, in the soil, you can't shoot it. You can only join it, or fear it. Do you think Traoré is protected by the people, or by fear of what replaces him? Can belief in a leader stop bullets and coups? Let us know in the comments section. Is this the beginning of Africa's real independence, or just another chapter? Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If so, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We have decided to bring videos on something nobody talks about: the Black culture, civilization, history, and evidence about how glorious Blacks have been. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.